Hey, what's going on, everyone? I hope you're staying safe out there in this crazy world. Today, I have a gameplay of Hardcore Domination on Shoot House, where I drop quite a few kills. I know it's not 1,000, but there's some good plays in here that I hope you will enjoy, so please watch until the end. I hope you had a good double points weekend and were able to get some guns gold and at least get close to finishing your battle pass. I was lucky enough to play for a couple days but ended up going camping for the last half. That was still a good decision, and I did happen to have some fun away from video games, believe it or not. With that being said, I do not really want to talk a whole lot about Call of Duty in this video or about camping, but I'd like to talk about some current events that are happening. For those that have not heard, a police officer in Minneapolis is being charged with third-degree murder and manslaughter for killing an unarmed black man. The police officer basically kneeled, putting his whole body weight on the man's neck as he begged for air and said he could not breathe. I know there are two sides to every story, but this sounds like excessive force in response to a counterfeit money complaint. I mean, the man was not armed or anything. You have a police officer planted on his neck in response. It just does not make sense, and it's really frustrating news to me. There were four officers on scene who did nothing to save the man, and they have all lost their jobs, but this definitely won't bring him back. I am not saying the slaughtered man was innocent, but he certainly did not deserve that treatment in my opinion. I do not think anyone does. I thought it would have made more sense to de-escalate this situation another way, like any other way. You just don't treat people like that. I know I'm not the only one angry about this event, as it has sparked protests throughout the USA. In Atlanta, protesters set a car on fire, struck officers with bottles, vandalized the headquarters of CNN, and broke into a restaurant in downtown Atlanta. Barricades were used to break police windshields, and people jumped car to car while one person climbed a CNN tower waving a Black Lives Matter flag. I do not really agree with such a radical response. I get the outrage, but people have to remember it's not CNN's fault this happened. It does not make sense to go and vandalize people's property in protest. You cannot paint every police officer with the same brush, so I don't think attacking random cops is the answer either. There have been large protests in Florida and New York as well. This event has really shaken the nation. So I think it is really cool that many people have taken to social media to let others know that Black Lives Matter. It may not solve racism, but it shows that there are good, caring people out there. And I just believe some jobs can't have bad people, and I think police officers qualify. It's a pretty sad situation, and I do not know what the answer is. Do you have cultural sensitivity training? Is it up to mom and dad to teach their children to be fair to everyone? Should pe- should people the police officers' age not know better already? I'd think so. Although we like to think we have come a long way, I believe racism is alive and well today. Just take even Call of Duty for example. Pretty much every other game you hear toxic players using the N-word and putting down others based on skin color. It's kinda sad, and I wish it did not happen, but it does. I guess you guys can help by not stooping to toxic players' level though. Just don't be a jerk online. It's not that hard to do. Alright, well that's the end of my rant, but I'd like to end this video on a more positive note, so I guess I can throw in some believe it or not, and thank you for listening so far. Alright, so on a more positive note, Nathaniel Vickers of Forest Hills, New York played golf 3 times a week at the age of 103. That's really good for him and is a pretty inspirational story that everyone should strive towards by age 103. But you know what? I heard it's okay to borrow from your 70s and 80s to have more fun in your 20s and 30s too. So maybe not reaching 103 might be alright too. Party it up, everyone. While we're on the topic of age, there are more than 28,000 people in Japan over the age of 100. The number of Japanese reaching this age has almost quadrupled in the past 10 years, and 85% are women. Margaret Waldron of Jacksonville, Florida, was 74 years old and legally blind when she hit 2 holes in 1 on the Amelia Island Plantation Golf Course. That's unreal. That is probably 2 more holes in 1 than I'll get in my entire life. I'm definitely jealous, but must remain optimistic. One day I will get a hole-in-1, although it will never be as impressive as the 2 Margaret got. A supermarket in Black Hawk, California sells Thirsty Pup, a bottled water for dogs. We are seeing it all when it comes to animals, and believe it or not. Restaurants for dogs, people allowing their dog to eat at the table, people teaching math to their dog. Might as well add bottled water for dogs to the collection. Have you ever noticed that each pair of horizontally opposing numbers on a clock adds up to 12? I was today years old when I learned this. Mind equals blown. So 10 is across from 2 on a clock, and that adds up to 12. 9 is across from 3 on a clock, and that adds up to 12. And 8 is across from 4 on the clock, so that adds up to 12, and so on and so on. I cannot believe I never noticed that before, so thank you, Ripley's Believe It or Not, for pointing that one out. It takes more energy to frown than to smile. You only need 17 muscles to create a smile, but a frown requires 43 muscles, so just be happy and smile. Only 1 inch long, a newborn kangaroo could hide behind a postage stamp. The hummingbird makes its nest out of spider webs, and an elephant is the only animal with 4 knees. Hugh and Joanne Robertson of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada recycle so much that they had only 2 bags of actual garbage over a 4-year period. Yeah, but they don't say how big the bags were, do they? They were probably ginormous. The average temperature of Antarctica is about 4 times warmer than the daytime temperature of Pluto, which is not a planet anymore. RIP. The original name of Regina, Canada was Pile o' Bones. A 14-year-old Swiss boy has built a functioning submarine out of an old pig trough and other bits of farm equipment. Well done, Aaron Creer. Although I would like to get better at making projects like that, it sounds like a lot of fun. I'm the least mechanically inclined person I know, but maybe if I tried harder? Who am I kidding? Alright, here's another one in golf. In Cleveland, Ohio, 8-year-old Harrison Vondrau hit 2 holes in 1 with the same ball in the space of 20 minutes. Well, 20 minutes. I would probably be on my 7th ball and be at least plus 10 in that time period if I went golfing. So that's good for him, for sure. Pretty cool. Well, thank you all for watching today. I hope I gave you something to think about in regards to racial inequality, which I discussed at the start of the video. Just be nice people. It is not hard to be kind, and there is never a need for racial slurs. We as a society need to get better at that. I hope you also enjoyed the Believe It or Not, and thank you for watching, and have a good night everyone. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.
Enemy UAV overhead.